Hey Aries, last but certainly not least, we're going to get into your 2026 Summer Lovin reading, right meow. And I hate to say it, but I am so excited to be done with these freaking Summer Lovin readings. They have not been light at all. So, with that being said, we're going to remove that energy, start anew, and finish out our Summer Lovin readings today. If this reading doesn't resonate with you, which it might not, because these readings have been heavy and very specific, please check out your moon and rising sign readings, though you might get a better message there. This is for romantic love, although family has been making their way in for several of these readings, and that was not my intention, but that's how the cards are being displayed. So anyway, this is for romantic love, like partnerships. And if you are just getting out of a relationship and you're not even looking for like anything new, then the relationship can just be with you and spirit, you know? So, all right, Aries, take a deep breath. What is my Aries collective? What is their energy right now in regards to romantic relationships? What is Aries energy in for romantic relationships? Uranus energy. Number 9. Could be closing out like a long held cycle, thinking about it, or you just feel wounded in relationships, like in regards to romantic relationships overall. Uranus energy could be like, typically it's Aquarius energy, so going against the grain, maybe this person, you know, you dated them and they weren't your typical type and it didn't work out, and now you know that. But something's afoot here, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. Like Uranus energy is it's fast. It kind of like brings about towers unexpectedly. And those towers can be good or bad, you know, like not all towers are bad. But I do get like aftermaths of like a blow up or some sort of like stroke of genius involving potentially a community. So like, you know, it could be the family and friends that surround your partner, or the family and friends that you surround yourself with who tend to introduce you to partners. That could be it too. Okay. Now the second card is a helpful card in terms of the energy that would be most helpful for you to be in order to manifest whatever it is you're looking for in romantic relationships. So let's just see what's going to be the most helpful energy for Aries collective in regards to romance. Number 37, which reduces to a 10. So yeah, you have been wounded in relationships and you're embarking, like you're closing that out. You're not fully closed out yet, but you're also not on to the next thing. Like you're kind of in that weird in-between space. Maybe even on the tail end of the relationship. But Uh, Rhodiola is the herb. I'm pulling from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck. And enchantment. Interesting. I'm gonna have to read on that real quick. Enchantment. Here's the card. Let's see what this one's all about. Enchantment. Just as it would suggest, in the upright, it is all about magic, wisdom keeper, purity, higher consciousness, clarity, intuitive intellect, and enchantment overall. Let's see. So the guidance when this card is pulled, the unicorn is known as the great protector of the forest. Like rhodiola, some unicorns are said to live near high mountains to this day. Mountains could be a thing for you, or mountain-like landscapes, or just the woods. Said to live near high mountains to this day, nourishing and protecting the wise and ancient forests left. Rhodiola is in your cards today to remind you that you are intelligence embodied. You're intuitive, articulate, and knowledgeable. You exude mastery, wisdom, purity, authority, and wisdom. Emotions do not cloud your judgment. Your actions are measured carefully and intuitively as you contain ancient codes on the ways of heaven and earth. The subtle essence of unicorn resides in the third eye. If unicorn medicine comes to you, your sense of wise creativity and aliveness will deepen. Don't neglect your medicine. Honor your natural gifts, stand tall, own your medicine and who you are becoming. Yeah, this is very transformative type energy for sure. And being confident about the direction that you are headed in, even though you may not feel confident right now. Those transition times are the most confusing and anxiety-driven times, only because like you don't know what you don't know yet, you know? Yeah. But knowing you, knowing yourself, and knowing what could be potentially good for you in this next step, like what you don't like, would be helpful in romantic relationships. And also embodying a little bit of like faith without sight is what I get. You know, like with each step you take, the path gets revealed to you. The entire thing isn't just going to be like laid out in front of you. Okay, that's good. Let's see here. What is going on in my Aries storyline, my Aries collective? What's the most prevalent energy in regards to like what's currently going on in their romantic relationships? What's their situation? I do get escalating events. But that could also be, like, escalating events doesn't have to be bad. If that's where your mind goes to initially, then that's something to consider. Like, be aware that your mind goes to negative spaces initially. But when I say escalating events, that could also be taking one step at a time. Like, moving forward, that's escalating. And then, you know, the path gets cleared as you go. So escalating events doesn't always have to be like a blow up. Although I do feel like that's something that you're like coming out of. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Typically, we like the Knight of Pentacles. We like that he's slow and considerate and practical. Like, I always think of the Knight of Pentacles as like the dude on the bachelor trip that actually has a plan for everyone. You know, he's like a leader and he like kind of like rallies the troops and is like, this is where we're gonna go. You know, he's practical and everyone else is just like along for the ride. But he comes out in reverse. So that means like, even though there's escalating events, there is a reversal of steps. Almost. Maybe you're like reconsidering the steps that you took in relationships of the past. Or maybe you just went back to somebody. Excuse me. You went back to somebody and gave somebody from the past an offer. And maybe blow-ups are happening as a part of that. I'm not clarifying these, so if you need a personal reading, reach out to me directly. What else for Aries? This is like a slow move, like slowly moving backwards, back into something that you've already invested in. Something that wasn't good for you, something that like burdened you in the past. That you left. You went back to some, I'm sorry, I have something in my eye. Maybe your vision was clouded about this person, or like it had been so long. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pause and go to the restroom. Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. I definitely had like 3 eyelashes and a hair in my eye somehow. You did. You went back to something, and I'm not like coming down on you, because there are certain situations to where like, you know, you go back to somebody maybe because, for a multitude of reasons. Like, it's been enough time that you feel like, well, I've changed, maybe this person has changed, and maybe it's a good thing. Or, I don't know, extenuating circumstances lead themselves to you having to reach out to somebody, you know, like, I don't know. That's where you're going to have to use your discernment here, is like, is this your storyline? Did you recently decide to go back to somebody? I definitely get law involved. And he came out sideways. This could be somebody that like you have children with, and maybe you feel like you, like it was such a burden on you then, like you took care of the kids, or like a lot of the day-to-day stuff sort of like fell on you, like taskmaster, you know, finances even. Finances could have been like a major reason as to why you went back to this person, you know, like maybe you came down on hard times and I don't know, they're a stable person, right? Like a consistent person in your life that you felt like, you know, I don't know, something like that. What else for Aries in this current situation? We have law involved, certainly. Like you're in the middle of it. Hopefully this wasn't like a bad blow up to where, you know, police needed to get involved, like domestic dispute type, but that could be it too. We want 1 or 2 more for Aries' current situation. going back into a relationship that they already left. Maybe somebody that you already had divorced in the past too, you know? Queen of Swords, yeah. Somebody who brought like law to your doorstep. But like, I don't know, maybe this was like super fast to happen too. With Temperance here, yeah, you did. It was a quick decision, I feel like, to go back to this person. And you were certainly in a relationship with them in the past to where like police or like the law had to be involved, you know, it could have been like a child support type situation, but or maybe this person even works in the law. It could be like an attorney too. Yeah, you feel like this was a rash decision on your part. But potentially like you're working on healing yourself. So I don't know if that means like trying to get out again, or I don't know, like changing your circumstances somehow. But let's see what does this summer look like for Aries in regards to their romantic relationship? Like, what does the current outlook look like without them changing anything? Well, you kind of are hunkering down. You are considering circumstances of the past regarding like how this, yeah, in your mind you're like, we could have, like this could have been everything, you know, this could have been, I thought that this could mean like happiness, you know, I thought this is what I wanted. Or at least now, like your future outlook looks as though like you're considering what you do want in the next partner, right? Like if you're just coming out of this situation, you're like, oh my God, that was a complete disaster. Why did I go back? You know, I went backwards. It set me back. Yeah. A lot of it had to do with some level of addictions here. You know, a person can truly be an addiction. So either, you know, you were addicted to this person or addicted to their sex or addicted to, you know, you name it, like the finances that they offer, the stability that they offer, like the comfort. But the future looks like, you know, you reconsidering what would actually bring you happiness and what you tend to gravitate towards and why. I feel like you're getting a better understanding of this. And this came out in the reverse. It's the Hierophant in reverse. You just didn't, I don't think you had the foresight. That's why enchantment is here, is that it's telling you like you weren't using your intuition, or like you didn't, I don't know, I feel like you didn't consider all the different ways that this could have played out for you, like how things could be different now for you. And I'm talking about you in the future, right? Because this is like, what does summer look like for you in regards to relationships? And you're telling me that, like, well, I'm just gonna like sort of take a beat and reconsider like what I truly want and versus what I tend to go for, and how I didn't see the big picture. Like I wasn't following my gut about this in the past, and I think that you're like trying to come to terms with that. Anything else for Aries this summer? Five of Swords. Maybe like the sex was good. Like when it's good, it's good, but when it's bad, it's like real bad, real volatile, real unhealthy and toxic. And perhaps you were in a mindset to where, you could have been put out and this was what you felt like was the only option. But I kind of feel as though you disregarded a lot of the arguments that you did have in the past, like why you broke up initially anyway. It's now coming back. Like you're seeing, at least you will see that clearly, if you haven't already. Am I correct about this? Yeah, you're like, what the home, like, what was I thinking, going back home to this person? And maybe you guys had even shared a home with each other at some point. Like, you thought that this was the right thing to do. And if they are, a baby mama or baby daddy, like, there's a natural inclination to sort of step back into that world, I would think, just because like you're in such close proximity if you guys are co-parenting, if there are children involved. So then if collective actually takes some time to sort of like really close out this cycle, build themselves back up and continue to move forward without, like with faith, without sight, not really knowing what the future holds, does that change anything in regards to their future? Does it change anything for you in regards to love? Like, what could the summer look like if they use their intuition a bit more going forward? So this was most definitely a situation where you needed just a place to go. Yeah, you went back to this person not because like you wanted to or you thought it was a good thing. You went back to this person because you needed like a home, potentially. And now, even though the circumstances felt as though you had no other option, like the future essentially you're reaping what you have sown regardless. Like there's, the wheel is turning, even though you might feel put out in the future by ending this completely. And I hope this isn't a case of like you become homeless. It could, this Five of Pentacles can actually mean maybe you go back to renting versus like being a homeowner, or like you sleep on people's couches or something like whatever you do to get out of the situation, you're gonna feel out of sorts. Like you're gonna feel like a fish out of water. And what Spirit is saying is that, like, even though that may be the case, you feel that way, at least you know it's the right thing to do because you're using your intuition. You see things clearly now that, like, okay, it didn't work out in the past for this reason. And it's like the wheel will begin to turn in your favor. But the longer you stay with this person, or the more you continue to go back or get more involved with them, then you're only going to be put out in a different way. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. So continue on with their storyline. Now that they're using their intuition, what does the future look like? You feel like maybe did you remarry this person? Only because, like, the Seven of Swords feels as though, like, you were betrayed. Like, stolen from, even. And this happens in July. So whatever started, like, this past spring, I feel like might escalate a little bit more into next month. Yeah, you feel like Well, okay. So what the future looks like for you, should you actually use your intuition about truly closing out the cycle and moving on and, getting back on your path, no matter what that looks like, whether you do end up sleeping in your car or going to missions or sleeping on friends' couches. Karma comes to those, good or bad. Karma will come to those that you feel as though have taken from you. Physically, mentally, emotionally. It's taken some time to see this for yourself. And you are going to feel as though like the time invested was for a lost cause, which is just natural, But that's, once you can admit that to yourself and you get to the point to where you're like, okay, I can't go back in time and change anything. What's done is done. It's just a matter of, like, sitting in it and time. You might feel as though you've missed out on opportunities or things that could have changed your life for the better. And so, there might be a little bit of, like, melancholy, a bit of sadness, depression, like, damn, I really wanted this to work, or I wish things didn't have to be this way, But that's where the healing journey begins. And that's also where, like, the wheel starts to turn in your favor, is, like, the more you can come to terms with it. And I don't know if this person was, like, an addiction for you or not. This is the second devil out on the table. So it kind of seems as though, like, there's some level of attachment here. And maybe it's just, like, I don't know, an attachment to a feeling you get in a relationship. Maybe that's it. Like you are just addicted to being in a relationship, like you like it. And so then, you find yourself going backwards sometimes just to fulfill that need. And what this is telling you is like, no, this is now an opportunity for you to see that, whatever the devil is in your world, and to sit with it, sit in it. Don't give in to it, but it's more or less like a recognizing without condemnation and acceptance, compassion for yourself. We are, after all, just human beings in this game called life. So I think this is good nonetheless. If I am like future like reading for you here, please do not go back to an old situation to where it was like, no, maybe things are different. I never suggest going backwards, ever. So, all right, Aries, well, I hope this was helpful for you. I'm so excited I'm done with these Summer Lovin readings. I don't know if I'm ever going to do them again, but we'll see. Maybe I'll have a bit of a blackout moment myself and go back to them. So, against my better judgment. All right, well, I love you. I hope this was helpful. I will see you in the next round. Take care.